You know, the Big 12 teams were released today, and I feel like there was one glaring admission, and it was Podcaster of the Year first team, Anthony Totri.
Happy Friday Eve for all of you hard of hearing. That means it's Thursday. Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. Of course, presented by Branded Bills. Make sure you head to brandedbills.com and use that code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always by the white boy wonder himself, Erik.
Looking extra
Ruby.
white today.
We've got the deli man behind the Mac making all of that magic happen. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast.
We're having a day, folks.
We're not even having a day. We're having a 10
15 minutes.
Yeah, we're having a 10-15 minute period.
The last 15 of maybe all-time pre-show PHNX Sun Devils mishaps.
It's been something.
It's been something
to say the least. That's right, JJB. Samba job.
That's right.
We've got a ton to get into today. We're going to be playing a game a little bit later on in the show. Figuring out which Arizona State Sun Devils can and will or won't return to Tempe in 2026. We'll get to that,
This is the worst day of my life.
But before we get to that, we do get the luxury of telling you guys which Arizona State Sun Devils landed on all Big 12 teams, starting with the first team, Rubus. Jordyn Tyson, Keith Abney, and Raleek Brown, all named to the all Big 12 first team. Were there any surprises in your mind when you saw that trio? Was there any folks that you thought should have and deserved to be on that first team list that weren't?
See, that's interesting. Like, I want to focus on the guys who made it first, because Jordyn Tyson clearly deserving, even though he missed a big part of the season. He was still the most impactful wide receiver in the Big 12 this year. I like that Raleek was getting his love. I think there were a couple of other running backs that kind of made their way in that middle part of the season that you might think, oh, okay, they might get that nod, but Raleek had a really strong end to the season, and so I'm happy that he also got that nod as well. And we've been talking about how great Keith Abney has been, potential first-round pick, and we've been saying not just the best corner in the Big 12, but one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
And so no surprises for the three that made it. They absolutely deserve their flowers, and I'm glad that they got them.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think, again, talking Jordyn Tyson, Raleek Brown, and Keith Abney, it's a trio of Sun Devils that every single time they were out there on the field, I think you could feel their impact, starting with Keith Abney. And I want to start with Keith because this has been such a long time coming. I feel like for him, for somebody that, you know, in the offseason didn't necessarily get the love and respect that we all here thought he deserved. And for him to have the season that he did, to have his NFL draft stock skyrocket the way that it has, I'm not sure there is a more deserving player of all conference honors on this roster than Keith Abney. So congratulations to him. And then you turn it to the offensive side of the ball. Jordyn Tyson, Raleek Brown. This is something that if I'm a coach at Arizona State, and I'm not, but like if I was, I would be showing this to every single transfer portal individual that comes to Tempe on a visit.
Yeah.
Of guys that have had careers in college football that maybe haven't been the greatest, right? Or they've dealt with injuries or position changes. Look at him. Look at Jordyn Tyson, where he started at Colorado, a really, really explosive freshman campaign for the Buffs. Obviously goes down with injury, misses the entirety of his sophomore season, rehabbing from the injury. Arizona State, of course, took a flyer on him because you didn't know how he was going to recover, right? He puts in the time, the effort, the energy. He's a good dude, good person, great player. And to have this type of season shows you what you could do at Arizona State. And then Raleek Brown, somebody who is quite literally like the joy of this football team. It feels like just on the field. I know when we had Kanye Udo on at the start of the season, they were calling Raleek Unk. And this is somebody that started his career at the high school level as a former 5-star, right? Somebody that there were super high aspirations and expectations for him, and it didn't necessarily work out at USC. He wanted to come back and be a running back, not a wide receiver like they had him at USC. And for him to play the entire year healthy, to have this type of season at running back the way that he wanted to have it, I mean, you got to just – it's such a special season for all these guys. But again, 2 transfers, 1 homegrown kid that committed here when he was, at a high school. It shows you that if you put in the work at Arizona State, this coaching staff can help you get to wherever you want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've all been great stories and big reasons why we saw ASU even have a little bit of success this year. And you might look at a couple of other guys and say, okay, well, they should have gotten love for that first team mentioned. But I think if you had to pick 3, those are probably the top 3 guys. Yeah. But what about in your mind? Was there somebody on either side of the ball that was like the first name that popped in your mind as like, how did they not get the first team?
Maybe not so much how did they not get it, but more so I think they had a really strong argument for it, and I think that's Jordan Crook. I think Jordan Crook, you look at somebody who, again, has been phenomenal all year long on this defense, 92 total tackles, 2 sacks, an INT, 2 pass deflections. Like somebody that maybe didn't stuff the stat sheet outside of tackles, right? But the impact of this guy was so much more than just what he was able to do every snap defensively. This is somebody that, came from Arkansas as a special teams guy and landed on this roster, worked his way up, and has had a masterful impact on this defense. Somebody that is a 3-down linebacker at this level. And I certainly felt like he deserved to get some love. On that all Big 12 first team. I know he didn't get first team. He did get second team.
So he's close.
He's close. Yeah. But I would have loved to see the votes just in terms of where he landed on that list, because I think he definitely deserved to be in that conversation. But he did land on second team along with his position mate, and Keyshawn Elliott,
who I think also had an argument for.
I think there's also an argument there for him, especially considering what he was able to do rushing the passer.
Yeah, I think there's an argument that maybe besides Keith, he's been your second best defensive player.
Keyshawn?
This season. Yeah, I think there's an argument.
I
mean, even like statistically, if you just want to look at statistically, the amount of tackles and sacks and tackles for a loss that he had, plus the way that he was able to, not only rush the passer, but just be a really good run stopper as well, and barely ever, it feels like, miss and tackle. So with Keyshawn, I feel like if I had to pick one guy from the second team, which was Crook, Keyshawn, and then Maxi Hanachor, which I think was a little bit of a surprise for me.
It was a surprise for me too.
To be all second team, but he's been getting lots of like love from the beginning of the season, even as like a potential.
I think you guys hated on him too much. If I'm being real,
I don't know if hated, but like
hated.
I just don't. I didn't know like second team all. I don't know if any offensive.
Well, every time he got brought up as a top NFL draft prospect.
It's just surprising.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. He doesn't, like, when I watch him play, I don't think NFL offensive lineman.
Like a top draft prospect, like somebody because of his measurables that somebody takes like a shot on, sure, but like some people were talking about him as like a day 2 pick, and
again, this is more so in terms of like, yes, he's got great measurables, yes, he's had solid moments, but like overall, this offensive line just as a unit hasn't been good enough. Hasn't been good enough to the point where I don't think anybody on that offensive line would have deserved to be in that conversation. But congratulations to Max Hanachor for I guess proving all of us wrong.
Absolutely.
And having the season that he did have. I'm very interested to see what his next step looks like. I think there is going to be a market for Max Hanachor at the next level. Like you said, given the measurables.
Sure.
Somebody that could certainly hear his name called during the 2026 NFL draft. I'd be shocked if he didn't end up on an NFL roster after this season, whether that's drafted, undrafted free agent.
I think he'll get drafted. I also think part of maybe our not hatred towards the offensive line, but like criticism is the unit as a whole. Like you mentioned, and when you are the offensive line and you're looking to your left and you're looking to your right and you're like, okay, we got a lot of moving and changing pieces, and sometimes guys are flagging or guys aren't getting their blocks or whatever. And that can make you look poor. And so I think that we would have probably saw a better Max Ahanichor if, Ben Coleman stayed healthy.
Yeah.
And if maybe we didn't see some regression from a couple of guys that returned, or maybe even like with Gemetto, if he was what we thought he could be on that offensive line transferring for Texas State, maybe Max individually would have looked better.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit surprised at second team. I think the other two I'm not surprised with really at all. But, I mean, clearly he did enough because there are plenty of offensive linemen in this conference to choose from to give this honors. And so for them to choose Max is a big deal.
And the third team, another trio of Arizona State Sun Devils landing on that all Big 12 third team. Some really impactful guys on this third team. Justin Watley, Prince Dorba, Miles Rouser, all three transfers, again, that didn't start their college careers at Arizona State. But, I mean, this trio of guys, a really, really impactful group for the Sun Devils. And again, three defensive players that were a massive part of this Arizona State's defense success all year long.
I mean, we've talked about the defense being the reason why this team has even stayed in games. How many times do they win 27-24 against a really good offense, right? And so when you look at Watley, I think especially like the back half of the season, Justin Watley was just having his way every single game. And then even the last 3-ish games, it was like,
it was an animal.
It's like, oh my God, this guy might be the best player on the field.
Yeah, he was a dog.
He was
unblockable.
Dog. Unblockable. And what a great way for him on the field to end his regular season college career. Prince Dorba, we saw have one of the best individually graded PFF performances this entire season and single-handedly basically win ASU that TCU
I'm not sure,
game.
And think about it for a second. Was there a better singular game performance this year from one specific Sun Devil? And I know that the argument is Raleek Brown against Colorado. You can make the argument Jeff Sims against
But I
Iowa
also
State.
take into account who they were playing, too.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I don't think there was. I think Prince Dorba had the best single game of any player this season.
I mean, it's rare when you say it's rare when you look at a defensive game that also had two other turnovers at the end and some heroics, and you could look at one singular guy and say, well, that guy probably just won you that game. And that was Prince Dorba.
Yeah.
Who also had maybe one of the singular most impressive plays of the season with the strip sack.
Yeah.
Right. Of Hoover. And so Prince Dorba is certainly deserving of it. I think there were some moments where he was really, really high. And then some moments where it's like, okay, where's Prince Dorba?
Yeah. He only had 4 sacks on the year.
Right. But 4 very meaningful sacks, including that one big
he had 3 against TCU, right? So 1 outside of that game.
And so you would have liked to see some more consistent success. But I think as far as Prince goes, we're going out of last season and saying hey, we expected a little bit more from Prince Dorba on this defensive line. Obviously, he started the season injured, never really felt found his place in. This season, it felt like he did.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'd say that's a really good kind of bounce back season from him. And to be third team All Big 12, which has some really good defensive players, and to be among many ASU Sun Devils who I think would have been in contention for an All Big 12 team. And we'll talk about honorable mentions here, even though there's not a defensive guy on there. I still think that you could look at a Boogie Wilson and say, okay, I think you had an argument to go in there and to be on the All Big 12
Fite,
team.
nowhere
on this. I think obviously he has an argument as well. And so to be one of the guys that gets that nod is a big deal for a guy like Prince.
Yeah, 1,000%. Getting to those honorable mention players before we take a quick break. Derek Eusebio, Jesus Gomez, and Shimon Mateer. All landing as all-conference honorable mentions. Awesome to see all of those guys.
Eusebio's awesome, right? That's great.
Yeah. I mean, given the start to the season, the start of his career, I think he's somebody that is going to have a massive impact on this team again in 2026 from an offensive perspective, potentially special teams as well. Jesus Gomez, I mean, he came and did his job. He, I believe, tied the record for the most Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Week awards in the history. So he had a really, really awesome season at Arizona State. And then Shimon Mateer, who has declared already for the NFL draft. All 3 of those guys again, and really all 12 of the guys that we talked about today, to have the impact that they did is just incredible. And again, a number of those guys were transfers, right? And again, you get the portal opening here in just a few short weeks. I know it's going to go by quick after bowl season. Portal opens January 2nd. And really the rest of this show is going to be dissecting and talking about which players do we think are going to come back, Erik, because out of those 12 players, in theory, you could look at 4 that could come back just from eligibility. Everybody else can't come back. And even out of those 12, or I guess out of those 4 that could come back, I think realistically, we're probably only talking about maybe 1 or 2 at this point in time. But we'll get to all of that on the other side of our first break.
Look, the future is bright for Arizona State football. And look, the future is also bright with Shady Rays, because Shady Rays is amazing. Look, I have always been a big-time sunglasses loser, sunglasses breaker.
Sunglasses loser?
Yeah, I just lose them all the time. Oh, I left them on top of my car. Oh, I left them at work. Oh, I sat on them. Like, that was just the story of Erik Ruby and sunglasses. And then I got Shady Rays, and ironically enough, they have the best protection plan in all of sunglasses. If you lose or you break them, even on day 1, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair, no guilt trip, just replacements. And I was like, oh, that's great. Great for me. I'll definitely be using that. I got my Shady Rays like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Not only have I not broken them, I haven't lost them. And part of that is I just love them so much. They are such high quality polarized sunglasses. I found the perfect frame for me, but they have frames for everybody. And right now we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to ShadyRays.com, use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Look, from one amazing frame to the next, we're talking about Aura Frames, a new partner here at PHNX Sports. Look, everybody loves the holidays, but everybody hates shopping for the holidays, or at least I do. You never know what to get everybody. Mom, dad, siblings, grandparents, etc. But
podcast co-host.
Don't fret anymore. We finally got the perfect gift. That's right. Aura Frames. You guys, of course, spend all year capturing these amazing photos and memories and videos, and now you guys finally have a place to showcase them with Aura Frames. I actually have an Aura Frame in my apartment. It's going all day long, and then when I leave the room, it turns off. That way you're not wasting like extra electricity while it's plugged in and while it's rolling. You guys get unlimited free photos and videos. All you gotta do is just download the Aura app and then of course connect to Wi-Fi. The list goes on of amazing parts that are really going to amplify the experience with Aura Frames. And for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code PHNX at checkout. That's AURA frames.com. Promo code PHNX. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell it fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, look, something that's not exclusive, our watch party for PHNX Suns on Monday. You can all pull up. It is free. You can RSVP for free to be entered in some of our giveaways. But on Monday, the Suns take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. A 5:30 p.m. tip-off means a 5 o'clock pregame show live from Wild Horse Pass, Gila River Resorts and Casinos, which means we'll be there even earlier if you want to come say hi beforehand, hang out during the pregame show, and then watch the Suns game with us. Or you can pull up right at tip-off, watch the game with us, especially the Suns, who have been super, super fun going through a really tough stretch in the West, but have proven they can beat anybody even without Devin Booker and Jalen Green on the court. We've got the live pre- and post-game shows, food and drink specials, giveaways, and of course, immaculate vibes only. RSVP for free at gophnx.com/events to be entered in our raffles, and just come say hi.
Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Steven in the chat with a marvelous question. When are we watching
it already
Shark
happened.
Tale? No, it did not happen. We will let everybody know, and we'll give you guys a reasonable amount of time to prepare.
I'm going to say a lot of the stuff from the Day of Giving, off-season content, most likely. Like once we get past like the bowl game and into like January,
it's a movie, Short Bus.
I think that's when we maybe get into some of these more fun.
We've got a meeting that we have as a group that we'll plan this all out, and then we will be sure to give you guys all.
Why'd you say it like that?
Why did I say it like that?
We got a meeting that we have as a group.
We got a
meeting to discuss.
You made it sound very ominous.
Okay, what would you like me to say?
We'll talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we could do that.
We are going.
You just said it sounded like we're some like insidious group. Way you said it.
Insidious group. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We're gonna have a meeting. That's all I got for you at this point in time. But we are going to discuss which Arizona State Sun Devils we think will return in 2026 and which won't. Maybe some that hit the transfer portal, maybe some that declare for the 2026 NFL draft. A couple of players that we won't be talking about on today's program include Jordyn Tyson. Jordyn Tyson is somebody that I think, again, it is, cat's kind of out of the bag here.
What do you mean?
This is somebody
You mean the guy who's not a senior who walked out on senior night?
They put him in the senior day graphic, too. Projected to go...
Could you imagine if he just stays?
Projected to go top 10. This is somebody that in the latest mock draft by The Athletic was actually mocked to go number 7 overall.
Wow, so he fell a little bit.
To the New York Jets. So for the love of God, please, New York Jets.
Okay, there are 2 teams that I don't want Jordyn Tyson on for his own sake.
Can I also let you know that he wasn't the first wide receiver mocked?
Who was?
Carnell Tate was projected to go to the New York Giants.
That's going to happen.
I don't think it should. But yes, he was projected to go. Carnell Tate was projected to go to the Giants. I would be very upset if the New York Giants had an opportunity to pair Jordyn Tyson with Cam Scadaboo and then Jackson Dart.
Can we just keep him out of New Jersey, please?
I think the Giants would be fine. The Jets is career suicide. And
don't go to the Jets.
There are 3 teams I don't want him on for his own sake.
Jets, Raiders.
No, I was going to say Titans.
Raiders is bad.
I mean, Raiders is bad. Okay, Jets, Titans, Raiders, and the Cardinals. As much as I would love for him to be on the Cardinals
need a quarterback.
Selfishly, as much as I would love him on the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Browns.
Stop. You can't.
Come home,
Shedeur to
Jordyn
Tyson would kind of be the...
Come home, Jordan.
I think the Giants might be dream scenario.
Justin Herbert wants to throw you the ball. Come on. Please. In the powder blues.
Ooh.
Oh, God. That would be so awesome. I told Scat the same thing, and then he ended up a New York Giant. So.
Well, look, I think honestly, best case scenario, and I'm not even just saying this from an ASU perspective, going to the Giants, playing alongside Malik Neighbors and Cam Scadaboo with a young quarterback.
Be a lot of fun.
That's pretty good. I feel like I like where the Giants are heading in general, and I think
welcome to the New York Giants podcast.
It'd be nice if Tyson ended up there. Plus, big city. When he starts playing well, obviously there's going to be a lot of attention on him.
Yeah, 1,000%. Another player that we are not going to discuss here is Keith Abney. Somebody that I think at this point in time it feels pretty certain that he's somebody that should enter the NFL draft. Not that I guess there's always a chance he comes back. He's somebody that can come back, but he is projected to be the second highest drafted Sun Devil in this 2026 class outside of Jordyn Tyson
at number 8.
So somebody that I've seen mocks for him in the first round. I think it's more realistically second or third round. But regardless, we will not be discussing Jordyn Tyson and Keith Abney today. But somebody we will be discussing is somebody that was a member of that All Big 12 first team. That is running back Raleek Brown. I've noticed there haven't been a ton of discussions, I feel like, on social media about Raleek coming back, hitting the portal, doing all those types of things, maybe entering the 2026 NFL draft, which from an eligibility perspective, he can do. But Erik, he can also come back. The question is, will he?
I think this one got really interesting over the last couple weeks of the season because beginning of the season, it was like, this guy's playing like an NFL player.
Yeah.
Right. And then there was that middle section of the season where it's like, okay, he's kind of disappeared. Maybe another year would be good for him. But you look at this, he's completed an entire healthy season in college football, right? He eclipsed 1,000 yards. He had some really great individual performances, some really big plays. I mean, is he a first round pick or a second round pick? Probably not, right? But I think somebody could fall in love with that talent, right? Plus the fact that he put on weight at the beginning of the season and then stayed healthy also really lends itself to the next level. Part of me is leaning towards he's going to put his name in the draft just because this is a guy who has had to sit out years of college football and is fully healthy and couldn't play last year because he wasn't fully healthy. Maybe take advantage of that. I'm going to say he goes. I think he puts his name in the draft, but I think if he doesn't, then he stays at ASU.
Interesting. So you think it's draft or back to ASU, but you think he will enter his name in the draft?
Yeah.
Interesting. What do you got, Dilly, man? What do you think as it relates to Raleek Brown?
I haven't heard anything about him getting drafted.
I haven't seen anything on him getting drafted either.
I don't know how much value there is in looking at him right now. Obviously a great year. 22 years old, undersized. He's just not the typical
1 year of production.
Yeah. So I'm saying he's coming back just based off of that.
Okay, so I'm the tiebreaker.
Sure.
I hold all the power.
I feel like based off of your reactions, I know where you're going.
I think Raleek Brown is going to come back. I think he's going to come back for one more season. This is somebody that, again, like to get first team, to have the opportunity to come back, know that he is going to be the starting running back again if he opts to return to Arizona State, will, in all likelihood, have a better offensive line, get another year in the system, which will technically be year 3 for him, considering he was here last year, but didn't play because he was rehabbing from a hamstring injury that he was dealing with. Again, love the 1 year of production, but I think if you want to be an NFL back, to be able to showcase that you could do it multiple seasons, you can have back-to-back years of going over 1,000, especially under Sean Aguano. You know what he does with his running backs. I think it makes more sense for him to stay at Arizona State one final year. I think his stock will go up if he does do that. So for that reason, I think he is going to stay.
I think it makes a lot of sense for him to stay. I think the reason why I kind of hesitate on it is the injury side of things, right? Because you go back for another year in college football, and let's say
there's always a chance.
Let's say you miss your time or whatever it is, like your stock's gonna fall.
Yeah,
right. I mean, look. Also, I wonder what the odds are of him entering the transfer portal and seeing what he can get. Now, I feel like he would. The number 2 option for me is that he would stay here, and it's very close, but we know that this offensive line was not the most desirable this season. And does a guy like Raleek look at maybe a place that has a better solid set offensive line and say, well, I could have an even better season over there? But that's clearly the third.
Yeah.
For me.
Because the question for me then is, like, where does he go? Because the SEC doesn't like small running backs.
No.
The SEC is, we're going to go get a 6'1", 230-pound back, and we're going to stick him behind an offensive line that is an average size of 6'6", 330 pounds, and we're just going to rock with brute force. He fits this style of offense. Again, we talked about it yesterday with Carde Mack. Like, Raleek Brown is the typical Kenny Dillingham running back. You look at Bucky Irving, you talk about Kenneth Gainwell, those types of scat backs that do pack a punch, that can run in between the tackles, but also have pretty elite speed and shiftiness. So I think for me, if he is going to return to college, I don't think it makes sense for him to move to another school.
I'd agree.
So again, he could, in theory, all these guys could come back. They could all go. But I feel pretty good that Raleek Brown will come back. Kicking it to the defensive side of the ball, somebody that I think is really an interesting one here, somebody that didn't find themselves on any of those Big 12 teams. That's CJ Fite, somebody that's been a Sun Devil now for several seasons. Really interesting to kind of project, because all offseason, all early in the year, it was, okay, where's CJ Fite in the NFL draft?
Yeah.
Right? Similar to the conversation that we had with Keith Abney. In terms of numbers, just eye-popping, it didn't happen. He didn't get that all-conference recognition, but he can return for another season. He could also hit the portal. He could also go to the NFL draft. What do you think as it relates to CJ Fite?
If he stays in college football, he's here. I mean, look, he's here. I would say maybe out of almost everybody that we're going to talk about, I would say the lowest odds to enter the transfer portal would be CJ Fite. Right. That guy is going to be here. He had a chance to leave before, but he is grateful and very invested in the fact that ASU is invested in him.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think he's back. I do think that for me at the beginning of the season, if you asked who's going to be in the draft, who's more likely to be in the draft, Raleek or CJ, I would have said CJ.
Yeah.
Now I feel the opposite way. But I still think CJ is a good NFL player, and I think there are lots of scouts that are at Arizona State practices and games to watch him. But wasn't exactly the most, I guess, dominant season as what you would have expected out of CJ, even though it's kind of hard at that position sometimes to truly measure like dominance.
Interior defensive linemen are tough to judge when it comes to that type of stuff.
But I really do think that he will be back next year, because I think it's a little bit different for a guy like that who's played a lot of football, hasn't had a lot of injury concerns, and doesn't play a position like Raleek where it's like you're going to be running full speed on somebody. Like, you can look at that runway for next year and say, okay, CJ Fite has a runway to be the best at his position in the conference. And if he does that, makes an all Big 12 team, like his draft stock will rise tremendously. I don't know how much higher Raleek's draft stock can go.
Yeah.
So I would say CJ's back, and this might be the one I'm most confident about.
Really?
But we'll see. He clearly is an NFL level talent. I think anytime you're an NFL level talent, that guy can always go.
What do you think, Deli?
But I think he's back.
CJ Fite is somebody that we've been talking about. CJ Fite is somebody that we've been obviously covering and talking about since his freshman season. Yeah. Not a prototypical Arizona State interior defensive lineman. They didn't get these types of guys before CJ. What do you think his future holds?
I mean, he's going to the NFL. I just don't know if it's going to be this year or not. Right now, he'd probably get drafted in like the 4th or 5th round until people talk to him, like we said. Yeah. And then I think he's a 3rd round pick.
He's a high IQ guy.
So I think he's gone.
You think he's gone?
Yeah, I think he goes to the draft. He's got so much like potential, and he's a guy who like another year in college football doesn't really benefit him. You know what benefits him? An NFL strength and conditioning program.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on this one, Shane. I think CJ Fite's gone. I'm with you.
Man, we cannot agree.
I'm with you on the sense that if he were to return to college football, I think it'd be at Arizona State. I don't see him as somebody that would put his name in the transfer portal. We know how much he loves the school, and he's somebody that is the definition of an Arizona State Sun Devil through and through. But I think he's gone. I think, like you said, Shane, I think he's somebody that has put it all out there on tape. Obviously, it is tough to evaluate interior defensive linemen for the average fan. But I think the reason that Arizona State's run defense has been as strong as it has for the last 3 years, even in Dilly's 3-9 season, I believe that run defense was pretty solid. And it's because of this guy right here. CJ Fite has just been an absolute anchor in the center of that Arizona State defense. And like you said, Shane, I think he's somebody that could really, really benefit from an NFL strength and conditioning program. I texted Sean to pause really early on in camp. I feel like CJ Fite has Buffalo Bill written all over him.
I can see that.
And I think that would be, in all honesty, a phenomenal fit for him, for the Buffalo Bills. And it would suck for ASU to lose him.
Yeah.
But
him tackling Cam Scadaboo.
Oh, God, that would be...
I will say this. What we're trying to set up for is that no matter what happens, we could say PHNX Sun Devils is right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so no matter what,
it's what we've been doing, man.
Obviously not just like evaluating like need for position, but just like I close my eyes and where can I see CJ Fite? Unfortunately, the Philadelphia Eagles like pops into my mind as well. Like I could see him in that jersey. Unfortunately,
I don't want to.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. This one's more of a gut feeling. But again, if I get a tweet notification that CJ Fite's entering the NFL draft, I'm like, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Like, of course.
Yeah.
That guy's an NFL player. He will always be an NFL player. He was an NFL player after last season. Like, if he goes to the draft, I feel like there are probably teams that have also been like, hey, we're really high on you. I wouldn't be shocked if somebody takes like a little bit more of a flyer on him than maybe where he's listed right now in mock drafts.
1,000%. Let us know in the chat. Do you think Raleek and CJ are coming back? We're just getting started. We got a number of Arizona State Sun Devils that we are still going to talk about, and we will do so on the other side of this quick break.
Yo, like I said before, we got a watch party at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, and you need to be there at Wild Horse Pass. That's
Come
on
join
Monday.
Unk.
But here's the thing. Come join Unk at Wild Horse Pass. But look, here's the other thing. You don't just have to go to the PHNX events to get the most out of Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Whether it's Wild Horse Pass, Vequeva, Lone Butte, or Santan Mountain, you can experience the best the Valley has to offer in a bunch of different ways. You want to go to a live podcast, a live show, a live event? Well, guess what? Gila's got you covered with that. Amazing, amazing options for you at all of their locations. What about going out for a night on the town, maybe a date night, maybe a night out with your friends? You can go to their dining options from upscale to affordable, or you can just go out, hit that state-of-the-art gaming floor with over 4,500 slots and live table games, or catch all the action at any of their sports books, including, of course, NFL Sundays, college football Saturdays when you're in the middle of the season, of course, NBA games and NBA days as well. Just remember, you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playedgila.com for more details, and I'll see you on Monday at Wild Horse Pass.
Circle K! That's the
end of that.
Yeah, that's it. They're trying to help you save money, and they've been doing so for as long as they've been a partner here at PHNX, and it's super easy. It's literally free to sign up to save money with Circle K. It's called Inner Circle. It's their free membership program. All you got to do, go to the App Store, download the app, email, phone number. That's it. That's all it takes to start saving money with Circle K. Once you're in the Inner Circle, the next time you pull up to a Circle K gas pump, you're going to type in your phone number, and it's going to let you know how much money you save. But those first 5 fill-ups that you guys have when you start your Inner Circle membership. You're going to save 25 cents off per gallon. And then you guys could save every single day after that. Literally, like I save like 5 cents off per gallon on gas every single time that I'm there. It adds up in the long run. Plus, I got these amazing things called Inner Circle Fuel Days. Sometimes you guys could save between 40 and 50 cents off per gallon on gas. Make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply. After participating locations, visit CircleK.com for details.
I got something to say.
Say it now.
I'll hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
Yeah.
We've got a couple people in chat who have tapped in with their YouTube recap, which is like the Spotify wrap for YouTube, and are in the 0.1% of PHNX viewers and listeners. We've had a bunch of people in our diehard Discord send us, their Spotify Wrapped, like their Apple Podcast, all that. And they're like, hey, like you guys are our top listen show or our top 5 listen show. Or I'm the 0.1% of watching PHNX. Thank you all. Yeah, thank you all so much for for being in here every single day, for supporting us as an entire channel, and for being in that 0.1%, or for having us at top of your podcast that you listen to. Means a lot. So from all of us at PHNX Sun Devils, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Not just PHNX Sun Devils, all of us here, I think, at PHNX Sports. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you, and I know we still got a month left in 2025, but we are all really, really excited for what 2026 has in store. Getting back to Arizona State, though, I think it's about time we talk about the guy that everybody wants to talk about as it relates to Arizona State. That is quarterback Sam Leavitt.
What? You might leave?
I guess.
Huh?
I guess.
Since when?
There's talk.
Oh, wow.
There is talk.
I totally missed that.
QB1 for now. Does he stay or does he go? Desert Kid 520 has been in the chat for the last 40 minutes saying that he's going.
Best profile picture in the chat, I will say, though. I do like the profile.
Kind of looks like Ayrton, not going to
lie. That's so mean. I'm taking a picture so we can... Yeah, that's the meanest thing maybe you've ever said in your entire life.
Oh my gosh. Do we think?
What do you think? No, I don't think it looks like Ayrton. I'm a nice guy. What do you think?
Do I think
you made me go first on all of these?
I think we should make. I think you should make the deli man go first.
No, we're making you go first.
Why are you making me go first?
Stop coming to me with this one.
Oh, you don't want to?
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work with the graphics, so you guys can just do it.
Do I think Sam Leavitt stays or do I think Sam Leavitt goes? Honestly, I think Sam Leavitt stays.
Okay. So if you had to tier, stays at ASU, transfer portal, or draft, is draft clearly third?
Yeah, I don't think draft's in the conversation.
It's between those first two.
Draft's not in the conversation.
Where's your jelly meter?
Percent?
The jelly meter.
I would say it is 51% he stays, 49% he goes. And I think in that 51% includes him potentially entering his name in the portal and then coming back.
You said he stayed.
I think he stays. Yeah. I think there is a...
Screenshot it!
I think there is a more likely chance that he stays. I think there is a more likely chance that he would enter the portal and come back than entering his name in the draft, to be in all, to be honest with you.
So you think he does enter the portal?
I think there's certainly a chance, and I don't want Arizona State fans to see him enter the portal and then think that there's not a chance that he comes back. I think Sam Leavitt, there is the highest chance of any Sun Devil to enter the portal and return over the last 2 or 3 years is Sam Leavitt.
And I think the question is, and this is a big test of philosophy of Kenny being like, if you don't want to be here, then you're not.
Then don't be here.
Right. If you enter the transfer portal, even if you still like, hey, I want to be at Arizona State, there is a part of you that's not fully committed.
Correct.
Right? That's just a fact. There's nothing wrong with that in the general landscape of college athletics, but that's a fact.
Yeah.
I think if you're 51-49, I'm also 51-49. The other way,
yeah.
In that he's gone. But I think what really shifts it is what ASU does around Sam Leavitt. Do you continue to reinforce the offensive line with guys who have played some level of college football? Obviously, we talked about Jarmaine on yesterday's show. That was a big flip, but just bringing in freshmen on the offensive line is not what you're going to sell a guy who's trying to get to the NFL on.
Yeah.
Right? I think you need to flip some more offensive linemen. You need to get some in the transfer portal. I don't think Sam's going to be the first guy deciding in the transfer portal season. And I think you need to figure out weapons.
Yeah.
You're going to need at least one premium. Either Raleek Brown comes back and you add a pretty good wide receiver.
You'll need more than just Raleek.
Or you need to add an elite wide receiver. in there.
This is where NIL is going to be really interesting here.
Yeah.
Not to pay Sam, because Sam's getting paid.
Pay everybody else.
Sam's going to get paid wherever he goes. I know it's not a money thing as it relates to Sam. Sam wants to win. Sam wants to play for a competitor. And he genuinely believes that he is going to be the best quarterback in the country. And he can do it at Arizona State. I think it's more so this university needs to show him, hey, we're building around you, right?
Yeah.
Right? We're building around this program. And Jermaine was a great start. Jermaine can only play one of those. He can only occupy one of those starting 5 offensive line spots.
Yeah.
You're going to need to go get some
Science is getting pretty crazy.
Huh?
Science is getting pretty crazy.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
can we clone him?
If we can, I mean, we're number 1 in innovation. If we can clone 5 more Jermaine Mitchells and just say, screw the tight end position, let's just have a 6th offensive lineman there, I'm down. Let's do it.
Green M&M says blaming the line is a cop-out. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that it is.
I don't think it's a cop-out either, but I think, again, this is what Sam needs. Sam needs an offensive line. Now, I have been very, very firm in my stance that if you are truly the best quarterback in the country and you plan on being a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, then you're going to a place that has an ass roster, that doesn't have a good offensive line, that doesn't usually have good talent around you. So if you can't do it in college, if you can't prove it that you can do it at this level, what makes you think you're going to be able to do it at the next level, right? So again, I think Sam needs this. Sam needs an offensive line. Arizona State needs an offensive line. That's point blank period, right? Regardless of who's playing quarterback, whether it's Sam, whether it's El Passer, Jake Fetty, or whoever else, right? You're going to need an offensive line and weapons around him. But if you genuinely believe that you are this good, which I think a lot of people do it.
Yeah, I also think, and with the line, and Green M says that Sam created his own sacks a lot of the times. I think there is, some stuff he needs to tweak about when he runs, when he doesn't run, and everything like that. But I think also part of it is that he never felt comfortable, right? And whether that's the line or the weapons or the offense, or whatever
the injury,
it is, or all three. Well, and then the last thing there is like, the reason why I'm not going to say the line's a cop-out is because he didn't get to end of the season because he's injured.
Yeah.
And the offensive line did play a part in that.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you look at your long-term future, being the top quarterback of the country, being a top draft pick, going to the NFL, you can't get injured all the time.
No.
You just can't sustain that.
That's also part of his running style.
Especially, again, part of the way that he plays football, which part of that's on him. Part of that's on the fact that he never felt comfortable enough to sit in the pocket and make his reads as often as he should have, because he was like, I got to scramble and I got to run.
Yeah.
So I would say unless ASU really floods with reinforcements, which I think is totally on the table. Again, I'm 51-49 as well. We are not too far off. I'm just leaning towards that he goes somewhere.
Ralph, with breaking news, the rumor I heard is that the University of Ontario is offering a herd of choice moose and a producer credit in Drake's next album.
Wow. Do we know if Sam Leavitt knows how to use Ableton? That's kind of the real question.
He doesn't need to use it because he would just get the credit.
That's fair.
I've seen a lot of people bring up the whole Sam's going to Miami situation. First off, any report that says Sam's going to sign a 2-year deal is crazy. You are insane in the head if you think that Sam's going to spend another 2 years in college. Wherever Sam goes, it's going to be on a 1-year deal, and then he is bouncing to the NFL. So whether that's Arizona State, Miami, wherever, it's going to be a 1-year situation. Again, money's not a thing. In this conversation, he's going to get paid handsomely wherever he goes. I'm more so in the camp to totally throw this out there. I think that Lenora Sellers will be the next quarterback of the Miami Hurricanes, but that is just me. But we'll see, right? This is all fiction at this point in time. The portal doesn't open for, several weeks, but I'm in the camp that Sam's back. You're in the camp that he's not. You brought up somebody prior to Sam, Martell Hughes. Somebody that can return at Arizona State. Of course, you are losing Keyshawn Elliott. Tate Romney entered his name in the portal. Jordan Crook. Not a ton of linebackers coming back for Arizona State that have at least produced the way that Martell has while being in the game. How do you feel like he is trending in terms of staying or going?
I think he's staying. I think this is Martell Hughes' moment. I think this is the time for Martell Hughes to really go out there and make a big name for himself. We see a lot of defensive players in ASU stick around, have a little bit of time out there on the field, make some plays, and then have breakout seasons next year. I think he's next in line. I certainly think that he is going to be the type of player that we talk about halfway through last season being like, man, look at Martell Hughes, sneaky MVP of the defense, sneaky guy that always makes the right play at the right time. And he did that already this season. I think a guy like him is the ASU Kenny Dillingham blueprint for a player who stays and thrives.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel pretty confident, especially given the exodus of linebackers that you have, that Martell Hughes is going to stay.
So you're in the camp Martell Hughes stays. I am 100% with you on this one. I think this is the first one that we've agreed on. I think Martell Hughes comes back to Arizona State. He will have the keys to the linebacker position. Somebody that has improved with every single snap, it feels like, at Arizona State. He's a really talented player. I'm really excited to see what another year with Coach Joe in the weight room can have him looking like as a Big 12 linebacker. Sneaky pick for end of next year as all-conference first team. He's that type of player. He, I believe, was tied for the team lead in interceptions this season. Had one taken away for, I believe, an offsides penalty against U of A. Otherwise, he would have led the team, which is crazy for a young linebacker like him. But I'm in the camp that Martell Hughes comes back for sure. So
yeah, I feel good about that.
We've gone through Sam, Raleek, CJ, and Martell Hughes. Still a handful of players that I want to get through before we get out of here. Before we hit our break, I want to get to a super chat real quick that we just got from Teller. Teller, I appreciate the $2 super chat saying Sims didn't get sacked as much as Sam. Why?
Ralph said because he fumbled every time.
Well, yeah, that was going to be my answer. Sam had the ball in his hand, and he was going to, try and throw to his team.
Stop it. You guys are really nasty. You guys are nasty.
Jeff threw it to the other team.
Here's the real answer, because they didn't drop back as much.
Well, and I think
the situations were a lot different. When you start a guy like Jeff Sims, who's turnover prone, see, we can do this nicely, who's turnover prone, you want him to get the ball out faster. Mm-hmm. When you have a guy like Sam, whose greatest ability is being able to create out of structure, then you let him do that. So,
Ralph says
my bad, Ralph. That was not Ralph. My bad. It was a comment right next to Ralph. My bad. That was
CJ.
My bad.
And it does count as a fumble or sack if you fumble while you're being sacked.
And I will say this: like we even talked.
There wasn't a lot of sack fumbles. There was a lot of him running and fumbling,
or just snapping.
I know, but CJ's comment was.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. I don't even know if he got sacked and maybe there was one sack fumble. A lot of his fumbles
got punched out when he was
running. A lot of the fumbles were him running and then it getting punched out or him throwing.
I don't want to talk about Jeff's turnovers anymore.
I think most of them were actually, or two, maybe three of them were on exchange in the read option, and a bad snap once. So we'll be right back after this quick break.
Woo.
Woo! That's the noise I'm making because we got UFC this weekend. We also got some conference championships. We got an NFL Sunday. We have a loaded menu of sporting events, and you know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be sitting this happy ass on my happy couch with some happy snacks, enjoying some pure edibles, and having a grand old time. Because...
Why?
Pure edibles is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
The uplifting effects are amazing, but you know what goes great with gummies?
No.
Great tasting. Gummies.
Oh, yeah.
Great taste. They taste like candy, and they've got a bunch of different options. Look, Pure, they're a full-fledged candy company offering gummies. They got Kicks, which, of course, we tell you all the time, their version of Starburst. They got Chew soft candies like caramel, and then hard candies for all you guys at home with dentures who want to get high but can't chew. So try those hard candies. And if you're like Rubus and you got trouble sleeping, well, try the sleep support gummies. Those work too. Speaking from experience, make sure you go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona.
Look, we all have our favorite holiday traditions, things that we do every year. And December, I'd say, is a pretty big month for, I would just say, drinking in general.
Yeah, Rubus drinks vodka.
Making yourself some nice cocktails and checking out Smirnoff, especially.
Yeah.
The new Smirnoff Spicy Tamarind option is definitely a way to kick off the holidays. Speaking of kickoff, on December 21st at State Farm Stadium, Smirnoff will be giving fans the chance to try their exciting signature serves featuring spicy tamarind. This includes a collaboration with Squirt plus a game day specific opponent-themed drink. Not only will they be serving up signature serves, but they'll also be working out of colorful, customized Smirnoff spicy tamarind trucks. So if you'll be cheering on the Cardinals in person against the Atlanta Falcons on December 21st, don't forget to stop by and see our friends at the Smirnoff truck for their collaboration with Squirt using spicy tamarind.
It's our white boy.
I love activations.
It's our guy right there.
Sharon asked, where's the ASU helmet?
It's here. Also, no one was saying that Jeff Sims is a bad guy. Jeff Sims is a great
dude.
Great guy.
Great guy.
I'm
just going to use this on my computer.
Jeez, we just
I just threw that kind of.
Yeah, you just toss that, man. You got the Jeff Sims helmet here. Do you feel like this gives you superpowers? It's also well.
please put Jeff down.
I was gonna say after you held it and then immediately.
Well, that was the joke.
Yeah. Jeff Sims, great guy.
You
3-1 as a starter, by the way, for Arizona State in 2025.
Record holder, Jeff Sims.
Record Hall of Fame.
Well, he's a record holder.
He's not 3-1.
As a starter at Arizona State in 2025.
He lost to Utah and Arizona.
He didn't. Oh yeah, you're right. He is 3-2, right?
I'm sorry.
Did he start? Yeah, he started. You're right. Good job.
Hashtag fact checker.
Is that
well?
Okay?
3-1 when he prepares the entire week as the starter.
Ha. Loser.
You decapitated Jeff.
Still started. Can we move on?
Yeah. Montana Warren. Somebody that, again, a part of that CJ Fite, Keith Abney class. Not a ton of people, though, talking about Montana Warren's draft stock. I think very clearly needs to have another year of college football at a minimum. The question is, will it be at Arizona State? I think year in, year out, there's always high expectations, or there have been high expectations for Montana, the nickel spot, safety spot. Do we think that Montana, again, does it at Arizona State in 2026?
I think when it comes to these defensive guys who have eligibility that aren't like draft prospects like CJ, I feel really comfortable with them coming back.
Yeah.
And maybe that's blindness, but I feel pretty confident in saying that Montana Warren will be back next year. And we've seen that this defense has been so good with guys staying in the system. And there's a really big opportunity for Montana. There's playing time. There's a runway. And I think that there are things that he could have improved on and could have done better on this season. And so I think staying in Brian Ward's defense, which we've seen some success with him and playing, I do think that he's back.
Yeah, I think he's back as well. Again, kind of like CJ puts it, he can be the guy in the secondary next year. I don't know if the sole focus is going to be that he is the guy, but I think he is going to be a really solid starter for this Arizona State defense in 2026. Moving back to the offensive side of the ball, a couple of rapid fire ones here at the same position. Jaron Hamilton. Turbo, does Jaron Hamilton return to Arizona State in 2026?
I think yes, specifically because we've heard about the struggles with the playbook, and maybe for his own sake, and I guess, maybe this is him saying, well, I'm going to go to try to find more playing time. I think for his own sake, he needs to stay somewhere, wherever it was, and get more accustomed, and there's a big opportunity for him too. I mean, Jordyn Tyson's going to be gone. Right. And so I think if you are Jaron Hamilton, you see that there's an opportunity here. Hopefully Sam Leavitt comes back. If not, Kenny Dillingham's really good at, getting quarterbacks to have a lot of production. There's a big void that needs to be filled. And part of the reason why you didn't play was because you were not as familiar with the playbook as you should have been.
Yeah.
So I do think that Jaron Hamilton is back. Plus, I don't think he had a good enough season to really get a huge amount of interest elsewhere.
I think he's gone. I think he is somebody that could go to a smaller school and go off against DBs that just simply can't keep up with him. But based off of everything we saw this year, I think, again, Arizona State is trying to win now. And Jaron Hamilton in 2025, I think, again, there were some issues getting on the field, getting open, outside of just running, a go ball. There wasn't much else that we saw in terms of actual true production. And again, he's a young player, still has a lot of room to grow. I think he can be a star at some point, whether that's here or not, though. I know you say he stays. I think he goes. Regardless, Arizona State is going to need to add wide receivers. Another one in that wide receiver room, Jalen Moss. Jalen Moss, somebody where I was specifically had very high expectations for Jalen Moss, given what he was able to do early in his career at Fresno State. We know this was, a really strange situation for Jalen this year, dealing with injuries, illnesses, all sorts of stuff. He has, I want to say, one more year of eligibility. The question is, does he come back?
I think he's gone. Just a gut feeling.
Just gut feeling.
That's the thing. The gut feeling with Jaron is maybe just more I feel like it's best for you, but obviously guys don't always make those decisions based off of what we think. I think it might
Actually, I would argue they never make the decision based off of what we think.
Yeah. I would say it's the same decision as what we think.
These are just guesses, by the way.
For some reason, no, we're reporting. For some reason, I feel like Jalen's gone.
You think Jalen's gone?
It's just a weird, somebody's got to go. Right, and I think there are a lot of weapons that are going to stay. I think
there's no recruits coming in the wide receiver room.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think it's going to be recruits that are coming in.
Well, there aren't any, so they have to go get.
I think it's going to be a heavy transfer portal off season for ASU for the wide receiver room, and I think Jalen Moss looks that like, hey, I might be better served getting more run and being more of a focal point in an offense, like you kind of mentioned with Jaren, like he was at Fresno State last year.
This is an interesting one for me because Jalen, again, there was such high expectations, but he plays in the same spot as Eusebio, and Eusebio is obviously kind of overtaken that slot spot. Jalen Moss, for me, I think he comes back. I think he comes back in the 2 deep, somebody that can be a rotational piece, very similar to like a Malik McLean did the year prior, where you don't necessarily have a ton of production in your first year at Arizona State. You spend another season here. You have a solid year. Ultimately, you heard me. I'm just going to say that one time. Have a solid year, and then
hashtag Malik McLean Nation, we won.
That's it. I do think that the Jalen Moss comes back for his final year. Again, I don't know how much this guy, especially as a veteran in college football, wants to spend 2 years at Fresno State, 1 year at Arizona State, and then move his whole life again somewhere else. I think that's something you always have to consider with some of these older players. But I certainly think Jalen Moss comes back. 3 more players, again, kind of rapid fire here. The last one on the offensive side of the ball, Kyson Brown. Kyson Brown, one of the more interesting ones here. The second guy in the running back room that we're talking about today. I know you said you didn't think Raleek would come back. I said he would. Does that at all impact what you think happens with Kyson?
That 100% impacts what happens with Kyson. I think if Raleek's back, there might be a conversation. Okay, Kyson, like Raleek clearly proved himself to be RB1 last year. We'll still give you touches, right? But we even saw before the season, it was like, hey, like this 3-headed running back room has been a 1-headed running back room. It's just been Raleek Brown.
Just a normal running back room.
I think if Raleek's back, then Kyson's back. But I think that Raleek is gone. So I think Kyson returns, and Kyson's on track to be running back 1 next year, which I feel good about, but I still think that they'll probably add somebody in the portal to compete with him for that running back 1 spot.
I think Kyson's back. And I know I had Raleek coming back. I think Kyson's back as well. I actually completely disagree with you. Not that I'm right and you're wrong. It doesn't matter. But I think as it relates to the offense in general, we talk a lot about this offensive line needs to improve. They need to get more weapons at wide receiver. They need to go get maybe a veteran tight end to join some of these younger guys. At a certain point, you're going to turn around and be like, where's all the money, right? You at this point, I don't think are going to have the money to go spend on an elite level running back. So if you're able to keep Raleek, keep Kyson, and a good chunk of those young backs, which again, I think you lose Kanye. I think you probably lose one of the younger guys.
Why do you think they lose Kanye?
Because he had, 10 carries the entire season after a 1,000-yard year.
I'm messing around.
Yeah, I think Kyson wants to be an Arizona State Sun Devil, somebody who, could spend his entire career at one place. And I think that means a lot to him. We'll see, though. I think Kyson
this would be the most shocked for somebody to leave. Like,
you think?
Yes. I would be shocked.
More shocked than CJ.
Or Martell.
Well, CJ transfer, yes. But Kyson just leaving, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it right now.
Plus, he technically has 2 years of eligibility left because he only played 4 games this year.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So he'll be a redshirt junior next year?
Yeah, if he wants it. I don't know.
Yeah. He's maybe the most fascinating to me on this roster.
He was RB1 coming into this year.
Yeah, he was.
Like 100%.
And then he went down against Mississippi State and was never the same.
Yeah.
Right. He had a completely different season up to that point. Last 2 guys that we'll get to are in the secondary. Somebody that, as I think Arizona State fans are maybe a little split on, and that's Javen Robinson. Could come back, somebody that's been a staple of this defense since that Big 12 championship run. We know that Javen Robinson will live on, like the glorious play of the pick against BYU will be ingrained in ASU fans' heads forever. I think the torching that he got against U of A will also kind of live in ASU fans' heads forever. So do we think that Javen Robinson opts to come back for another season of college football at Arizona State?
I think he stays, and it's kind of the same as before. I feel like it's the best thing for Javen to do. I don't know if his stock is going to be extremely high to go get a spot that's going to pay him a lot of money and give him a lot of playing time. I think he's firmly entrenched in at least the rotation in the secondary here, and they're going to be giving him a shot. So I think he stays, but I would say I'm pretty disappointed with the season that Javen Robinson put together as a whole. I don't think it was just the University of Arizona game where he got torched. I think there were a couple of other games where he was the weak link out there in the secondary, which was not the case the year before. So I'm hoping that staying in that same system, having a good offseason of work, he comes back and he could be a productive piece in the secondary like we know that he can be.
Yeah, he absolutely could be a productive piece. And I think he's had really good moments as an Arizona State Sun Devil. I know there's definitely some plays and games that I'm sure he would like to have back. I think he comes back. I think he has been with this Brian Ward defense for some time now, even going back to when he was at Washington State. Somebody that I genuinely believe could, again, really thrive in this defense, coming back for another season in a starting position. And again, it would alleviate the what Arizona State has to spend elsewhere when you can return a veteran like Javen. But I think he would like to have a fresh season in 2026.
He also has the most underrated play in ASU football history, in Kenny Dillingham's history, in my opinion. The interception against Quinn Ewers in
Texas game,
like nobody talks about that. It wasn't just it was a great play, like an unbelievable play against one of the top burners in the country, and an underthrown ball, sure, but that they were down 8 at that time, I think, and that the rest is history. Like if they win that game, everyone's talking about it.
Green M&M in the chat saying he disagrees with saying he got torched. He did get targeted every single pass. He got targeted a lot. That was clearly what.
But why were they targeting?
Seth Daggy wanted to do. They wanted to target. Well, I mean, your options are you either target first team corner Keith Abney, or your other option is Javen Robinson. So you're going to take
I feel like more so than what we saw even in other games that they really picked on.
There were a couple games where he totally got targeted.
Yeah, because again, you're not targeting the other guy.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of the product. You can look at the stats from this year to last year. He played the same amount of snaps, basically. He had 43 tackles last year and 42 this year. He had 8 passes defended this year as opposed to 4 last year.
Yeah,
the opportunities were way more. No interceptions, but I also think that a lot of teams just found something in that, and that's more on Brian Ward than it is Javen Robinson. If you're constantly getting put in a bad position on defense, and you're constantly getting targeted and getting burnt because of soft coverage or whatever, you got to fix that. You got to adjust to your players' capabilities.
Yeah, I agree. The last player that we will get to today is Boogie Wilson.
I want him back. I really, really want Boogie Wilson back, and I think he does stay.
Yeah,
I think he stays. Again, with the defensive guys, I'm always more inclined to say that they do stay, especially considering how good of a season they had in general. And how good he was specifically. I mean, this was a breakout year for him. He was one of the best players on the field for them. So I think he stays. I think staying in Brian Ward's system has proven fruitful for a lot of guys. Look at a Keith Abney, right? And you look at, like a Keyshawn Elliott staying for 2 years, and obviously different positions, but the more ingrained you are in his defense, the better you get. I think he can be in conversation for first team All Big 12 at his position next year. He'll be good wherever he goes because he's just a good football player. But I think specifically if he stays here, that'll get the most out of him. I think that he probably understands and sees that after this season and sees the opportunity laying ahead. I think he stays.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Boogie Wilson is back. I think he's somebody that is going to be a staple of this Arizona State defense. Maybe not even just next year, but the year following. He's got that much eligibility left. He's going to be a dog for whoever gets him. But again, I think he stays firmly at Arizona State, and this defense certainly benefits from it. Guys, that is going to do it, though, for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devil Show. Make sure you hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button, and you drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We, again, appreciate everybody that stopped by today live after the fact or listened on audio. We appreciate you. We will be back on Friday at noon. We've been doing our Friday shows early, pretty much all season long. Tomorrow's Friday show will be the last time we do one at noon. We will be going back to 1 p.m. after tomorrow. So make sure you're here tomorrow at noon, PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you want to follow along with more Arizona State news and notes, make sure you follow the show at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow this guy right here, our white boy wonder, at Erik Ruby. That's Erik with a K. You can follow the Daily Man at Shane Deef.
Sorry for being so loud, everybody.
As always, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.